Elijah. We're studying the story of Elijah. If you've seen the Superbook episodes, you probably know all about him that there is to know. And
Yes, sir.
all right,
Yeah.
who would like to read the first part?
Can I, can
Mm,
I, can I, can I, can
sure.
Can I?
Gayana,
Sir,
read
can
today.
I? Okay. Not a drop. After the death of King Solomon, his kingdom was divided and ruled by two kings. Jeroboam ruled the 10 tribes of Israel in the north, while Rehoboam, the son of Solomon, ruled Judah's 2 tribes in the south. After a number of kings had come and gone, Ahab became king of Israel. He sinned even more than the kings before him and married a wicked woman named Jezebel. Ahab and Jezebel worshipped the heathen god Baal.
Bail.
Elijah, a prophet of God, said to King Ahab, "In the name of the living God of Israel, I tell you that there will be no dew or rain for the next few years." Then the Lord told to Elijah to go east and hide near the brook Kerith.
Bit.
"You
Yes.
can drink from this brook," the Lord said, "and I have commanded ravens to bring you food." Elijah obeyed the Lord and went to the brook. There the ravens brought Elijah bread and meat every morning and every evening.
Yes. So the important thing here for us to know is that after Solomon died, it was one kingdom, it was one country. It was divided into two parts, the north and the south. In the north, 10 tribes. Tribes are the descendants of a sons of Jacob. Jacob had 12 sons, remember? 10 of them, they were 10 tribes.
Sir,
Two more were
excuse me,
the other
sir.
tribes. Yes.
Ahab or Ahab? Ahab.
In English, we say Ahab. But in other languages, sometimes they say Ahab. In English, we say Ahab. It depends on which language you speak. That's why. Anyway, so 10 tribes,
Okay, sir.
descendants of 10 of sons of Jacob, right? They were in the north, and two of them, two tribes or descendants of two of sons of Jacob were in the south, Judah. Judah and Israel. Judah was the southern kingdom, and uh, Israel was the northern kingdom. And they had different kings, good kings and bad kings. Judah had mostly good kings, but Israel had mostly bad kings. And so here in Judah, where the 10 tribes are, there's the bad king, Ahab and Jezebel. And they do not like to worship God. They worship heathen god Baal, and they sacrifice children to him. Imagine that. And so God sent Elijah to speak to Ahab. This is what happened. Let's look at the comic book. But the Lord God had a response to King Ahab and his worship of Baal. His response came in the form of a prophet named Elijah. This is Elijah. Elijah means the Lord is God. This is what he said. This is what Elijah said. Hear the word of the Lord, the God of Israel. As he lives, you and all Israel will have neither dew nor rain the next few years, except at my word. He said there's going to be no more rain for 3 years. Imagine that. And people say, don't listen to that madman, oh king. They say to the king, don't listen to Elijah. He's a crazy person. Then the Lord spoke to Elijah. Go hide in the Kerith ravine east of the Jordan. You will drink from the brook, and I have directed the ravens to supply you with food there. And so he did. He went to the brook, and the ravens brought him bread and meat in the morning and evening, and he drank from the brook. Here, meat doesn't mean meat, it means food. They brought him food every single day. Ravens, imagine that. When the brook dried up because there had been no rain, the Lord spoke to Elijah. We will read this part another day, okay? Just this, the part that we read today is the important part about how Elijah was sent to tell King Ahab that he's not doing good And the punishment was that the whole country would not have rain for the next few years, for 3 years. But Elijah was taken care of by ravens. Now, the question for us is, can one leader cause everyone to suffer? If there's a bad leader of the country, does everybody suffer because of that person?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. You suddenly think about Sri Lanka, right? Not only
Yes,
Israel,
of course.
Bible stories, but Sri Lanka, right?
Yeah. Yes,
Can
of
we
course.
ask the solar man to read? Because he doesn't visit us very often. And when he visits us, we should celebrate. Solar man, can you read this part of the lesson, please?
Okay. We have many examples of how one person, a powerful leader, can cause much suffering and hardship in a country. Many of the great wars have been started by the decision of a single person, and thousands of people have been killed because of stubbornness and greed of one person. King Ahab's sin caused many to follow his bad example of
Idolatry.
idolatry, and this brought how and much suffering. In
Drought.
some
Yes.
cases, the people themselves choose their leader, not knowing how we would turn out. We should remember to pray for our leaders so that they will let God lead them.
That's right.
1
First
Timothy
Timothy 2, verses 1 to 3. That's right. It says, we have to pray for our leaders. It's easy to criticize them. It's easy to say they are stupid, they do not know anything, they ruin the country, but it's not easy to pray for them. Our responsibility is to pray for the leaders of the country, for the leaders everywhere around us. It's not only the country, there are leaders everywhere. In your family, your parents are the leaders, right? In the school,
Yes,
your
that's true.
teachers and the heads and the principal, they are the leaders. In your country, the president and the ministers and others, they are the leaders. There are many leaders, and we have to pray for them so that they follow God's lead and not their own desire, so that they listen to God. That's the important thing. We have to pray for them. And verse for today, let's read it together. Ready? Go. Do
Do any of the working fathers of the nations bring rain? Do the skies themselves send down showers? No, it is you, O Lord our God. Therefore our hope is in you, for you are the one who does all this. Jeremiah 14, verse 22.
That's right. As I expected, most of our prefects are not here today. Only Tehila. Tehila quickly ran home and turned the Zoom on, right, Tehila?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't expect you to come. What a surprise. Yeah.
No, is she a prefect?
She's not a prefect, she was a prefect. This trip was for both this year's prefect and last year's prefects. And she was last year a prefect. So she was invited to the trip too. But I'm surprised that she's there right now. How fast did she have to run? I have no idea. Good job, Tehila. You ran fast. Anyway, that's all for the lesson for today. I mean, yeah, we started talking about Elijah, and we'll continue to talk about Elijah. He was a prophet, a great prophet, one of the greatest prophets in Israel. And we'll talk more about him tomorrow. There's going to be a lot of miracles. He did a lot of miracles. Yeah. Looking forward to seeing you on Wednesday at school, because Monday and Tuesday are holidays. You know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of you I'll see on Tuesday. Some of you I'll see on Wednesday.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, have a good
So that means we
Sunday
have like
tomorrow. Sorry, what, Nishia?
that means we have like
What are you asking, Nishia? Let me stop the recording.